Yo. Yo. Yo, I'm gonna. Yeah. Run that back, Turbo.
Yo. It's Butts Talk. I'm back. I'm Nick Butts. Once again here with my friend and colleague, Michael Ciccimarra. Cheech, how are you doing?
Good. Great to be back.
Wonderful to have you back on. Despite things I may have said on social media over the weekend, I am back again. And, you know, it was quite the weekend in college football, Cheech. We had two top 10 matchups, and one of which was probably the game of the year in college football thus far.
Definitely a contender.
Obviously, we're talking about Clemson Notre Dame. That was an electric game. Obviously, Notre Dame ended up winning 47-40 in double overtime. Whoa. DJ Uiagalelei played incredibly. I mean, he threw for 439 yards and two touchdowns, three touchdowns. He played lights out.
And he wasn't even at 100%.
Exactly.
And he's a freshman.
He's a freshman. His second career start. He's 18 years old, guys.
And he threw the most passing yards against Notre Dame in history.
I think that's just insane. To do that is one thing, but then, you know, of course they lost, which is very disheartening, and I hope that his performance doesn't go overlooked because of that when people are looking back. But I mean, what a game. That was just, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. Obviously, Clemson's defense is what, you know, as I predicted, as we said last week, Clemson's defense was the problem for them as they gave up 47 points. They could not stop Notre Dame. They could not stop Notre Dame.
They made Ian Book look like a dual threat Heisman contender.
They made Ian Book look like a god amongst men. And maybe I'll say it. Maybe as Xavier Thomas walks by outside, maybe we'll say that I might have underestimated Notre Dame a little bit. Maybe me and literally everyone else in the country, because they looked like the more complete team on Saturday night. They really did. I mean, on both sides of the ball and in the trenches especially, both lines on each side played phenomenally, and their defense ended up coming up big when it mattered, and I think that the team with the better defense ultimately won the game. However, I believe that if Trevor Lawrence would have played, there could have been a few small things that he could have done. I'm not going to sit here and nitpick because DJ played phenomenally, flawlessly, but I think there are certain things that Trevor Lawrence, with his experience, could have done that could have led to a different result.
It's just the experience.
It's the experience, but it's okay. Clemson's season is still alive. Their playoff hopes are still 100% alive. They most likely will get another shot at Notre Dame in December in the ACC championship, and I'm very excited for that.
I think it will go differently.
I think
we're missing three players on defense. And Trevor.
I think when you have three starters out on defense, it definitely makes a difference. So I'd like to see how Clemson can do against Notre Dame the second time around, if that ends up happening. Obviously, they both would have to win out, but it's looking very likely that's going to happen at this point. So anyway, moving forward, the Georgia Bulldogs, they're done.
They are done.
They are done. I guess it's what I said last week. I mean, they just are not there on offense.
The QB situation is just...
It's atrocious.
A mess.
It is absolutely atrocious. And even Kirby Smart said that he felt that Stetson Bennett and DeJuan Mathis were both more game ready or something like that. I don't know the exact quote, but he said something that that those two were more ready than JT Daniels. And I just don't buy that, because JT Daniels mind you, has a whole season of starting experience under his belt at Southern California, and you lose your stars when you get into college, but he was a 5-star recruit. He was a 5-star quarterback for a reason.
Highly coveted.
Highly coveted, yes. So I don't know. I mean, at this point, Georgia, if you want to make a good bowl game, I would say maybe write some letters to Kirby Smart. At this point, though, your season's done. Your season may as well be in the garbage now because you're not going to win. You're not going to win anything meaningful this year.
On the other hand, Florida.
The Florida Gators, yes.
Kyle Trask.
The Florida Gators are now your SEC East favorite. I mean, I don't know if they officially clinched with that win. I don't think they did, but
I think they will. But
they definitely now control their own destiny to get to the conference championship game, and it's looking like they're going to have to play Alabama, which I thought. I don't know. I thought that those two teams were scheduled to play in the regular season, but I'm not 100% sure. But regardless, it's looking like the SEC championship game is going to play. So I guess, okay, Florida does not play Alabama in the regular season, which is interesting. So those two teams will meet for the first time this season, we're assuming, in the SEC championship. So that, if we look into December, I think, do the Florida Gators have a shot at knocking off Alabama?
I don't know.
I'd say as of right now,
I mean, Bama's the best team in the country.
Bama is definitively the best team in the country. Other than maybe Ohio State, I'm not sure if anyone's going to hang with Bama right now because they're. I mean, I talked about it last week. They're so lethal on offense. I mean, they man. I mean, if you're Clemson with that defense and you have to play Alabama right now, if they had to play right now, Alabama would absolutely torch them. Speaking of Alabama, though, their game this week postponed against LSU, and you almost think, is LSU, is it purposeful? Did they fake positive COVID test to get out of having to play Alabama this year?
No.
There's theories, conspiracy theories floating around college football social media that might be a possibility, given that LSU, went and beat Alabama last year, and that maybe people are speculating that maybe Saban wants his revenge, as bad as LSU is this year. I mean, you think
the players want to play, the school needs the money. I doubt it.
It's fair. I mean, obviously we know how that game's going to go.
Oh yeah,
one way or the other. LSU is just bad.
It would be bad.
It would be an absolute thrashing, but lucky for LSU, they get to avoid that for at least a few more weeks, if it ends up getting made up. But you look at the rest of the slate of games this week, and other than a few, there's not much in the way of great action. But you look closely, and you see a few sneaky good games in there. You got Notre Dame, Boston College. Will Notre Dame go into Chestnut Hill sleepwalking after that big win?
I mean, Clemson struggled against them.
Clemson struggled against BC. BC is no joke. They're no slouch, especially on offense this year. They're historically known to be more of a defensive team, but obviously against Clemson, in the first half against Clemson, they torched them. And I don't think Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame needs to watch out. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know if Boston College will beat them. All I'm saying is Notre Dame better not sleepwalk. You also got Ohio State and Maryland. Maryland, after their first game, didn't look great, but the past 2 weeks, with big wins over Penn State and Minnesota, they all of a sudden seem to be one of the better offensive teams in the country, especially with Talia Tagovailoa. He has looked phenomenal, and you'd think Ohio State's defense, at least against Rutgers, and Penn State, they did yield a little bit of points. They gave up
28.
20, I think 27 and 25 to each, and which isn't bad. But you got to think that a team as good on offense as Maryland has been, they might put up some points against these Buckeyes. I don't know. I don't think Maryland defensively is strong enough to stop Ohio State.
It was a good game. What, 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah, Maryland missed a 2-point conversion that would have won the game for them. But so we'll see what happens. That was last time that Ohio State traveled down to College Park. So maybe this year, you never know. But I'm thinking the Buckeyes probably have this one. They're favored by 25.5. Will they cover? Who knows? But I think they'll definitely win by a couple scores. I'm just saying, look out for Maryland to put up some points on the Buckeyes this weekend. Another big game, you go down to the SEC. This is interesting to me. You got Arkansas, who is on the rise this year. After not winning an SEC game since 2017, they're now 3-3. It really should be 4-2. And they travel to Florida. However, their head coach, Sam Pittman, is out with COVID-19. So that's obviously going to hurt them. But it is, Felipe Franks, Arkansas QB, going back to the swamp against his old team.
Revenge tour.
Is this a revenge game for Felipe Franks? Can Arkansas beat Florida in the swamp?
I don't think so. I think they can put up a fight, though.
I think they're certainly capable, but at the end of the day, yes. I mean, Florida on paper is clearly the better team, and it's definitely going to hurt with your head coach out if you're Arkansas. But also, I mean, that is definitely a game to watch and look for this weekend. That's at 7 o'clock. Honestly, that one has a little more entertainment value than most. And then also, last sneaky good game of the weekend, you got number 23 Northwestern at Purdue. Both teams, now Northwestern only 3-0 and Purdue only 2-0, but both teams not expected to be undefeated at this point. So that one suddenly has some meaning, especially in the Big Ten race. The winner of that game is in a great position in the Big Ten standings. So you got to think that maybe, I don't know. If Northwestern wins, I mean, at 4-0, you got to think, hey, maybe this team's for real. But yeah. As far as other great games this week, you got Georgia, Missouri, Miami, Virginia Tech, and even the sweethearts of the South, Coastal Carolina, they play Troy this week, and you never really know with them. It's always interesting to see, will they stay undefeated? And kind of same thing with Liberty as they play Western Carolina this week, a team that has not played a single game this year. So, it's just one of those kind of weekends in college football where you kind of got to pick and choose what games you want to watch because, your options are limited. But, there's some games. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few upsets. So definitely be on the lookout, I think as we move in to the end of the program here, we start to wrap things up. We'll end how we usually do with our Heisman watch. Cheech, who if the season ended today, who's your Heisman Trophy winner?
It's got to be Mac Jones.
Yeah.
And then I would put Fields second right now, Trevor third just because he was out 2 games, and Trask at 4.
Yeah. Okay. I agree. I mean, I think Mac Jones is definitely the front runner right now. I mean, it's pretty hard to dispute that at this point. Trevor probably was at one point, but when you miss 2 games, it's very tough. Fields, if he continues to play at this level, will win the Heisman Trophy. He has been absolutely outstanding. He has more
touchdowns than incompletions.
I think that he has 13 touchdowns to his 11 incompletions.
Yep.
That is insane. The fact that he's even better this year than he was last year is actually scary.
However, he's played 3 games?
3 games.
They have combined 1 win.
That's fair enough. So maybe, I don't know. I mean, I think Fields, though, he can play good against anyone. Anyway, that's all the time we got for today. I'm Nick Butts.
I'm Cheech. Thanks for having me again.
Hey, thanks for joining. We'll see y'all soon.